All right. Hey guys, welcome to Elliott Wave Made Simple. Today we are going to take a look at Bitcoin. And boy, what a bull market this has been for Bitcoin after a long pullback. But you know what? Depending on your perspective, depending on your time frame, you'll see Bitcoin is wildly bullish and we are up off the lows. So where are we heading? Let's take a look at the chart through the lens of Elliott wave theory. All right, so I'm way zoomed out here on a weekly chart, but where we're going to focus is a little more detail oriented over here where the current action is and where price has been clearly moving higher. Now you can see this area right here is where all my homework is, and that's the area we're going to focus on. We're going to consider this whole move coming off the fall of October 2022, October, November. We're going to consider this a bottom of wave 4, and this is basically leading up to wave 1 of what could be wave 5. But you know what? We don't need to focus that far in the future. I think it's better for my style of trading and for the folks that I'm hanging around regarding Bitcoin is just to look out over the next year. What could we expect? And I think there's some really good indicators and really good clues that suggest Bitcoin is on the verge of a very strong move higher after this wave 4. Now, Elliott wave is so great for giving you context over a longer period of time. And in this case, once this topped here and began this overlapping, very corrective looking wave, basically I put a fib on here at the top of wave 3 up from the bottom of wave 2 that I was just showing you from October of 2022, and then measuring what would be a typical area for a wave 4 to terminate. So let me brighten up the fibs on this wave 4 so you can see it. I know a lot of you guys are on phones and small screens. So a typical target, one way to look at a target for wave 4 is to look for price to come down between the 236 and the 382 of the entire length of wave 3. And so the other clue, not only are we looking at Fibonacci levels, but we are also looking at the structure of price. So Elliott wave guys know that a wave 4 should be moving in threes and can evolve into a complex overlapping structure. And that is, I believe, exactly what we got. Now, I've been posting this same chart for many months, really since it topped. And the way this has been moving in threes, this is the chart that I created. And I put the A there. And as long as this didn't make a new high there, I was considering it a B. At first, I thought the B was here. Then I moved the B over here because this did make a newer high. But what basically you have here, now this is not Elliott wave, but just simple terms, you have a high, you have a lower high, you have a lower high, you have a lower high. And currently we have yet another lower high. So that in and of itself is telling you this has been a downtrend right here. We've been in this channel. This particular box right here is a ratio box that I put down there, thinking that is a very good clue for where the bottom of this C wave may terminate. And what I was delighted is that it wicked down through there, no candle closes. Then it wicked down there again, but it made a higher low, no candle closes down here. And then it continued, finally it broke out and it continued in an impulsive, non-overlapping manner, which is why it is very likely that the low is in here. You know, could you have said the same over here? Perhaps, but we did not make a higher high. So that negated the odds of this continuing to, in other words, for this to be the bottom, this would have had to continue higher, because this could have been a 1, 2, 3, 4, although this is too small. I mean, I've measured all this stuff, 5 waves to Sunday. This is too small. And then once I had what I thought was 5 down for 1, 2, and then 3-wave retrace for the 2, and then it let go. So I started tracking this as a C wave. And I believe that's just what we got. So this is a daily chart. Okay, so now we're going to zoom in. We're going to drill down. Let's honestly, the 4-hour chart, you're still going to be able to see everything just fine on the 4-hour chart. So after this bounce in the zone where we consider it reasonable to expect a lasting low, meaning between the 236 and the 382, and this ratio box for the wave 5 of C of 4. Now, look, if this is word salad, just keep coming back to the channel. You will eventually understand these degrees because I will be explaining them as we go in little bits. Eventually, I will make a video just explaining the degrees. Okay. But for now, all you need to know is this ratio box was the target box that I created once we bottomed in this wave 3 and started bouncing overlappingly and correctively, which is a wonderful clue. And then we also use Fibonacci to gain clues. This terminated at the 382 to 5, the 382 to 50% retrace level of the entire length of wave 3. Typical for a wave 4 is to see price retrace anywhere from the 236 to the 382 to the 50% of the entire length of wave 3. And additional to the fibs, we always consider the structure of price. So it's really those two things combined that give us a wonderful context through which to view the market through the lens of Elliott wave. So this all measured just fine. It came down, it poked a little below the ratio box. Fine, no problem. It held the major zone. And then we got an impulsive looking move. This in here, not ideal the way it looked, but then I started relying on the fibs more than the actual structure. Strictly structure did not look standard, but the fibs did follow fairly well standards. So these purple fibs here was me tracking this 1, 2, wave 3 often targets. Let me brighten these up so you can see them. Wave 3 often targets the 1618. This is the larger structure in the white fibs, but as you know about Elliott wave, the internal structure should be similar to the overall impulse. So in this case, a wave 3 should be composed of 5 waves. The internal structure of wave 3, given the fractal nature of markets, should resemble a 5-wave structure, just as the overall larger structure I'm looking for to complete in 5 waves. So internally, this came up to right where you'd want to see a wave 3. The wave 4 held again in a typical box for a wave 4 as measured, as I've explained just now. And then wave 5 came up 1, 2, 3, ABC for 4, one more shove up for 5. So this is wave 5 of this internal structure in purple. And then the white 1, 2, 3 extended, but I'll take it because it did strike almost to the penny a very nice, respectable fib level for an extension at the 2618. And then the pullback, clearly in 3 waves, held again, same measurements, 236 to 382 of the entire length of wave 3 in a 3-wave move, giving me some encouragement that this really is the next wave 4. Another clue for wave 4s in an impulse, the internal structure where the wave 4 is often the same region for where the next degree higher, which is what we're talking about here in white, also struck that similar area for wave 4, giving me further confidence that this is indeed another wave 4 of the degree in white here. So now I put on another fib ratio box up here, which is similar to what I did down here for this wave 5. This is a different degree wave 5, but this is the ratio box where you could reasonably expect price to come up into this zone. Okay, this is a big deal because if this makes it up here, it's making new highs over what's going on here to the left at the top of this wave 3. So if this can make a new high in a 5-wave structure, then what you may expect after that is some kind of a pullback in a wave 2, and then the holy grail of Elliott wave trading is catching a wave 3 on a larger degree, like maybe what this might be. And typical of wave 2 would be 50%, 618, or even extend to the 764. So I'm going to alter this a little bit, but I'm just going to put on these fibs. I'm not going to spend the time right now getting this exactly to the penny, but eventually I will. I'm getting it very close to the low there, and I'm going to change these fibs because I want to see something in an extremely bullish scenario, similar to commodities. Actually, sometimes the pullbacks may be shallower than otherwise may be if it's in a strong bull move. This thing is hitting all these fibs ideally. So if this makes it up into this box, if this continues impulsively and gives us a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, somewhere up into this area, I will then be looking for a 3-wave correction back down somewhere into here, which also would be beautiful because sometimes the wave 2 also targets the similar region for the previous trend wave 4. So wouldn't that be interesting if the buying opportunity of the ages may be in the very near future? Now, Elliott wave is not so great at timing, although it does have a timing component. So do not look at my chart and do not, okay, this is actually a very important point that I want to make, and I want to be very clear about it. So when you're looking at Elliott wave is all about the structure of price. Okay, we are getting our clues and we're getting our edge about trading from Elliott wave regarding the structure of price and where these fibs are located and what we may expect in terms of corrections, where they may target, what the zones are. What Elliott wave is not so great at, but I mean, find me a method that is great at timing, but timing is the hardest part. Okay. So, but here's the point. When you're looking at my Elliott wave charts and you see a box up there and you see another box, and I'm talking about stuff that might happen in the future, do not try to buy options based on the timing. Do not try to gauge your expiration of option calls and plays and spreads, any expiration related products based on where I'm putting my boxes on the line of time, on a timeline. Don't do that. Okay. If you are going to do that, buy way more time than you're seeing on my charts. Now, I do a little bit of timing work, but I'm not going to get into that for this purposes of this video. Okay. So trust and believe me, do not try to buy options based on where I'm putting my boxes on my Elliott wave charts. If you're going to trade Elliott wave charts using options, buy more time than you think you need. That's all I'll say about that. Futures, fantastic. Have at it. All right, let's get back to the chart. All right, so having said all of that, that's my disclaimer. And actually, I can already see that this is eating up a little bit of time here, so I probably need to move this over. Eventually, I will dial in these boxes right to the penny. Why do I care about doing it to the penny? Because sometimes, it just happened in NASDAQ, sometimes price literally hits these fib targets to the penny. I like to see up here, by the way, this thing is already wildly extended, but the proportions are good, even though it's extended. You see, these fibs here go with this 1, 2 down here, if this is in fact the 1, 2. And if so, the 3, 6, 1, 8, which is another reasonable target for an extension in a bull move for a wave 5. And it's right in dead in center of my ratio box. I mean, it's in the heart of the ratio box. So I do like this. So I'm thinking this could be nearing the top of wave 1. I need to drill in and look more closely at the nanostructure of this, but I will be updating this chart through time. We did make a new high above the top of this wave 3. So that's fantastic. Eventually, I will dial in my measurements a little better and get a more exacting target for where this may be up here, if it does want to project up into this box based on this wave 5. Okay, so I will be updating. By the way, if you're liking this video on Bitcoin and you're into Bitcoin and you never thought that, whoa, Elliott wave can be useful in Bitcoin, absolutely it can. Be sure to subscribe Be sure to like the video, come back. So when I make another video about Bitcoin, you're going to get the notification. I'll probably start doing Bitcoin once a week going forward. So if you're inclined to hit that subscribe button, go for it. Also, I should tell you, the Professor Trades is the club. That's the place you want to be. If you're struggling with trading, all the basic stuff that everybody struggles with at the beginning, blowing up an account, blowing up 2 accounts, uh, letting winners turn into losers, moving your stops and continually getting stopped out and losing money, stopped out, losing money. And then you finally give up after you've lost a big chunk of your account. And then the price moves in the direction that you were looking for it to move originally before you burned a third of your accounts moving your stops. If this is you, come join us at theprofessortrades.com for less than $1 a day. It's about the mindset. That's really the value Armando is providing in addition to the trade signals. Yes, everybody just wants to say, give me winning trades. I'll just take them and make money. What's better than that is come get educated. Armando is a fantastic teacher. And one of the hardest things for beginning traders to master is their own mindset. Armando has a unique way of demonstrating his mindset and then actually teaching you and giving you some very specific techniques, things to do to work on your mindset. I'm watching it happen. I've been in his club for 7 months. I've been trading for 5 years, and I'm just blown away by watching people come in and watching them turn around their trades. What it's done for me, the single biggest thing that Armando has done for me is get me to size down. Now, I already knew that, but I wasn't sized down enough. And Armando yelled at me one day in a big brother kind of way and got me to size down. It has made a tremendous difference. It's ironic, sizing down, gaining in consistency and gaining in better gains over time. Wow, who would have thought you could make more by sizing down? And it's a very different mindset. Anyway, enough on that. Join us in the club. Okay, so back to the chart. Last thing, that's it. I'm going to gauge this. Last thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to drop down to the 1 hour chart just to see what is going on with this little structure right here. Now, word to the wise regarding Elliott wave, as you drill down on the smaller time frames, it can be less reliable, or rather the fibs aren't as reliable, but the overall structure of price is going to still shine when you drop down on these lower time frames. Let's put this, again, I'm not going to waste time getting these fibs exactly where they should be, but if this is going to be wave 4, and I've got all these templates saved because I'm measuring this stuff all the time. So it is possible that this already had its wave 4 and this is wave 5. And guess what? I don't need a crystal ball. I don't need to make predictions. I don't need to know the future. All I need to know is where my fibs are. So here's a little clue. This is the last thing, okay? Last thing I'm going to mention. Here's a little clue. If it's a wave 4, if this is a wave 4, it's very likely going to hold in this box or somewhere close to the bottom of this box. If it is not a wave 4, it is going to come down deeper and very likely target something like this, where a line in the sand where I'm going to change my immediate bullishness is if price, that's kind of convenient because it's right at the top of that box, but price needs to stay above 65,000. Just call it 65,180, 185. 65,185 is a parameter. You do not want to see price get below that. Is it the end of the world if it does? Not necessarily. There's a couple other options it could be, but my instincts are saying this is a wave 4, or this is already a nano 1, and you're going to get a deeper wave for wave 2. So we're going to watch first this 382 at 67,500. We're going to look at that for the first clue to see if that holds. And this should move down in 3 waves. It should, if it turns into a larger 3-wave move that comes down deeper, then I'll consider that a wave 2, and then I will be able to project up into here. But you know what? Just because, what the heck, it's Saturday and this is fun for me. Let's say this was a top of a 5-wave move, and let's say we do get a wave 2, and it comes all the way down into here. you could see a 5-wave move. If this is already wave 1 and this gets a wave 2, wave 3 would come up to the bottom of this zone. Then you get a wave 4 pullback, and then one more shove up here towards the higher part of this ratio box. There's nothing wrong with that. That would be an amazing completion of this wave 5 of this structure, which really just gives you a brand new wave 1. Now, from up here, the pullback is going to feel awful because it's going to be on a percentage basis bigger than any pullback we've had since this low, going all the way back to the beginning of July. What date is that? Yeah, July 4th. Interesting. So, you know, if this tops out all the way up here, then that is where you're going to need to hold on to your hat and not get freaked out if this comes all the way back down here into the price territory of this wave 4. There's a couple other options, but I'm just going to leave it at that. Okay. So I do appreciate you watching. Again, if you are feeling like you're getting some value out of this video and you want to keep getting value in the future, smash the subscribe button. You'll be sure to get the alerts. And I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Now, look, if you got questions about Elliott Wave or anything that I've said in this video, drop it in the comments. I promise you I will respond. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Happy trading. See you next time. Bye-bye.